People's Church has a long history, and over time and with many ministers, we have experienced every style of leadership. The Kalamazoo Church has existed for more than a century and a half, but our religious forebears arrived in North America with the first settlers. They included Congregationalists and Transcendentalists whose services remained primarily Protestant Christian. Many notable people were Unitarians or Universalists. Their personal beliefs often tended toward liberal causes such as the abolition of slavery, but only slight differences in doctrine separated Unitarians and Universalists from the mainstream, even by 1825, when the American Unitarian Association was formed and dispatched a few brave missionaries to the frontier. Kalamazoo was still a frontier town in 1855 when young missionary D.A. Russell arrived from Boston to organize the first Unitarian Society, which raised money to build a church on South Park Street during the Civil War. The small congregation in Kalamazoo grew slowly under a succession of ministers, but remained quite traditional until 1889, when a fiery young woman named Carolyn Bartlett came to town and changed everything. A social reformer ahead of her time, she inspired the construction of a large downtown building in 1894 and proposed naming it People's Church. She surprised everyone with her innovative ideas about uses of the new space for community outreach and social action. Other ministers followed in the footsteps of Carolyn Bartlett Crane, most notably Edwin Palmer, who treated the building as his home and the congregation as his family. He and his wife Margaretta kept the church together during the dark years of the Great Depression and World War II. Mr. Palmer's sudden death brought to our ministry Roger Greeley, a dominating and dynamic young former Marine who proudly considered each Sunday service a theatrical performance. He extolled the doctrine of humanism, emphasized civil rights and GLBT inclusion, presided over exceptional congregational growth, and inspired construction of the present 10th Street building. After Mr. Greeley's retirement and a brief interim, the Reverend Dr. Davidson Lohr brought an extraordinary resume as our next settled minister. He was a brilliant scholar and an eloquent orator, but his personal approach divided the congregation. Although Dr. Lohr was esteemed by many, others found themselves alienated, resulting in his resignation and formation of the UU Community Church in Portage. Fred Campbell's 2-year interim ministry followed. His low-key cooperative approach to leadership maintained our membership and brought needed healing. The personality of People's Church today reflects most notably the shared ministry style of Jill McAllister, under whose consensus leadership People's earned international recognition. We became more welcoming as a congregation, and church programs for all ages, especially religious education, grew greatly, resulting in expansion of our 45-year-old building to its present size. We've come a long way. Our history has evolved from liberal Christian views about God and Jesus to a rich pluralism that includes theist, atheist, agnostic, humanist, pagan, Christian, Jew, and Buddhist. We're proud of our tradition, and as we seek yet another new minister, our rich experience can help us to plan for a vibrant future.